So, what do you guys want to talk about?
You can call this the New World Order of Wrestling, brother. Put out the caution tape. Put out the orange cones. Acknowledge me.
Welcome to A Plus Wrestling here on KPHR Radio and on YouTube at Hutch Henry's. We are your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Hutch.
We got some brand new Demand Lucha merch, baby. Check out the satin jackets. Gotta love it.
Those jackets look sweet.
They are pretty sweet. Actually, we gave away like the oil, like our company colors are like that pink to purple gradient, kind of like the background here on the podcast up there. Yeah. So we had jackets like that with the logos, but the black and whites are in. First edition run. The next ones are going to be slightly different. So these are going to be like serious collectors because we got slightly different design, and those are going to be the ones moving forward. This sucker's getting auctioned off tomorrow night. Second show in a row that we're auctioning off a jacket, and that's going to be it. We did a purple, we did a black, and that's going to be it. So get yourselves there, and you can actually pre-order them now if you're not a gambler. If you're not the gambler.
Where would one go to pre-order these?
I don't know. Do you know that the Gambler, remember the old WCW wrestler, the Gambler?
I thought you were talking about Kenny Rogers.
No, like there was a job.
Hey, I know. I do remember. Yes, I do.
Dude, he had his son wrestled for a while, and he wrestled as El Hijo del the Gambler, even though he was just like a white dude. He just did it for fun for a little while. How husky and individual? This one's Scott asking how husky and individual. This is a large, and it's a little big for me. I'm getting myself one of these new. I'm not going to have one of these special edition first ones because I'm getting a medium. This fits really nicely, but I like my stuff snug. And this is just a large, and we've got triple XLs on order. So I'll take a look at some of them tomorrow, Scott, and I'll give you the actual rundown. But I've never hugged
I
you.
can try one on. If I am there, I can try one on. And
are you equal in a husk to Scott?
I believe so. I got some good
I'm waiting
neck
to see
weight.
if in the chat it says like, hey, or something like that.
I know, that's what I
man,
was waiting for too.
Screw you.
As always, for those of you listening on KPHR, we are live earlier in the week on YouTube. We're trying different days right now. Last week, we had a pretty good turnout on a Wednesday. We typically try to do Tuesday, but we're taking it by ear right now. We're going to figure out what day works best, not only for us, but for the audience, because we do love interacting with you live on the show at Hutch Henry's, youtube.com. But it's been quite the week in wrestling. AEW doubling down. Mick Foley is all elite. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. I guess we're going to preview Double or Nothing. We'll be previewing Saturday night's main event. It's a busy weekend of wrestling. But Hutch, man, what is going on in La Vida del Hutch?
Well, I got a new mic here. If it sounds like bad, let everybody let me know. But it's
Sounds
a condenser mic. It's a good condenser mic. If you know your mics, it's not like a dynamic moving coil mic like these SM. I think they're 51s. SM51s is what a lot of people are using these days. Are these standard dynamic moving coil mics, which is basically it's a spring in between two magnets, and then it with a diaphragm on it, so your sound waves hit it and it registers it that way. Condenser mics, which work slightly different. They have a capacitor which fills up with power. So I've noticed that it's not good with the syllables of the P. Mic check, yeah, thank you, Scott. But I got a couple of these, and if they're nice, we might be using them tomorrow at the show. For Demand Lucha, we have Phantom Power on all our units, so we're going to fire that up, and hopefully nobody says, wow, you sound really bad tonight, Hutch, and then I'll just go ahead with these mics. But that's what's going on. New jackets, new hat, new I guess I'm new shirt. This is about a couple months old. I've never worn it, so it's all new, Boris. Everything's all new. Boom,
new
boom,
day,
boom,
new
boom.
Hutch, new everything here on A Plus Wrestling. It's
and
quite
new
to say the least.
Champ. I hate to move all the way forward to Clash in Italy since there's so much going on this week, but new champ. I think we could be looking at two new champs, or at least one. Something's got to give over there. But if you want to go that far ahead, technically, if we talk about Raw, we would be talking about all that stuff for Raw and SmackDown, right?
We'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about Raw.
But I'll let you lead the way.
Yeah, I'm tired. This week has been such a weird week here in Toronto, weather-wise, to say the least. We've literally in the past 7 days, I think we've seen every possible extreme, from the extreme cold to yesterday's 33 Celsius at some point. It is crazy. And today, it's funny because this morning I was out because I had one of those school presentations with Rick Vive and Kaylee Armstrong and others, and I left about 7:30 in the morning. and it was freezing. Like, cold, it was windy, it felt like it was going to rain, which it did last night, like pretty heavily as well. Got tornado warnings out in south or central Ontario.
I got a
crazy
squall warning. It's like this, just like a wave of rain that comes past you, like,
Yep, exactly.
And
then in the middle of this presentation, the sun comes out. It's boiling hot, and Hutch, schools here in Ontario, they don't have air conditioning whatsoever. So as the sun is like blaring, we're in a high school, grade 11s. Luckily, they were good. Luckily, they were very athletic and cared about sports, knew who Rick Vive was and stuff. So the presentations went well. But man, it was hot in there. But that doesn't even compare to yesterday's presentation. So yesterday, we're doing this program while going to different schools, talking about, you don't necessarily need to play sports to be part of a team. That's the message with the Stronger Together, that group that I'm working with right now. And we went to you like how I put that in, strongertogether.ca. And we went to an elementary school. First off, it was about 1,000 students, and in the entrance of the gym, you can flat out see maximum 420 people in this auditorium allowed. And I'm like, okay, this is a beautiful start. This is a great start. And you have some fanboys. It's the fanboy principal, fanboy teachers going like to Rick Vive, going to some other past NHLers that we had in yesterday's group, and it was like already annoying because it's like we're trying to set up, you get time after to take pictures and talk to them, yada 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 yada. So it was very frustrating because we're trying to tell them, like, give them a heads up on what type of questions we're going to ask in this forum, in the panel and whatnot. So it's already started. Yesterday was boiling hot. So in this gymnasium that only allows 400 plus people, there is about 1,000 plus people. Number one, it's 30 plus degrees. Then the janitor had this brilliant idea to open up doors to get wind in, to let the fresh air in. But Hutch, as you know, here in Southern Ontario, we don't get nice, beautiful, cold, breezy wind. It was like hot wind. And it made it 10 times worse in this gymnasium. So you can only imagine how the young kids, like the JKs, the grade 1s, the grade 2s, even like they were all kids. This is 14 and under. From ages 4 to about 14 are these kids.
Man,
and then
young kids smell hard. When they first start to sweat, it's like boom, it hits hard.
Especially those. It's funny because as I went to the back of the gym, I'm like, oh, it's smelling worse. It's smelling worse. Because obviously these are the kids who have just gone through puberty. So it was pretty bad. It was pretty rancid in there. It's hot in there.
It's still like young kid smell is also different.
Not that beautiful baby smell where you just want to take it in and absorb their smell. No, you want nothing to do with this smell. You want this smell far away from you. But that was like one thing. And then, okay, the presentation overall went iffy. Kids weren't paying attention by the middle of it. You can tell the little kids were just over it. They didn't give a crap what was going on. And let's go down there.
I'm trying to figure out what side you were on. Go on. I'm like, if I gotta look at you, I was like, okay, I gotta look this way if I gotta look at him.
Exactly. Right. Yes, that's that way. Yeah, so kids aren't paying attention anymore. It is getting crazy in there. And I'm thinking, oh, this is a mess. Meanwhile, I'm like sweating bullets at this point. Everyone is sweating bullets. And it was just horrible. It was horrible. Then at the end of the presentation, the principal comes up to us and says, oh, by the way, you guys did great to keep their attention span going because we just got back from mass. So these poor kids walked to church, went through church, walked back in a boiling hot church, walked back to school, went into a boiling hot gym to listen to other presentations because, after Victoria Day, which we celebrated on Monday, teachers are done. They're checked out. That's when they roll in the VCRs and the TVs to every class, right? So it was horrible, man. These kids. And then, we find out the poor kids, the poor little kids, the JKs, the grade 3s, which, they were awesome. Now that I learned this, they're all special needs students. So like you put them through church in a hot boiling church, you put them through a hot boiling gym, and then you're like screaming at them that they're not paying attention. When we learned this, we're all like, they did great, all things considered. Like, tranquilo there, principal. Why did you do this? This is on you. But yeah, that was my day yesterday in a nutshell. And then I was like, my face was like red. Like I'm still a little like burnt from yesterday. It's crazy. It's crazy. But today's went well. It was a grade 11 class, and it was an all-boys school, which is very interesting to see. But man, going into a high school nowadays, so weird. They all have phones. They're all on social media. They're all filming TikToks. Such a different world, my friend.
Indeed, it is. I have one myself, although he's 21 now. So he's not quite a teenager.
That's my nephew's
I was
age.
there.
That's my nephew's age.
My son is freaking jacked, like seriously jacked. Like I want to bring him. He's like bigger than some of the wrestlers now. Like Matty Z, bigger than Matty Z. He's like taller, has bigger hair, which is hard when Matty lets it grow out because he's like an afro. Yeah. And my son also happens to have curly hair like his mother. And he's freaking jacked. His shoulders are like bowling balls. Like it's insane. Every time I see him recently, I'm like, wow, you're getting bigger all the time. Nuts.
These grade 11s, dude, some of them were massive. I'm like, have you ever thought about pro wrestling, my friend? Yeah,
kids.
Like,
but hey, my house at night gets really hot inside, and then we go outside. It's cool, like when it's summertime, like this, like yesterday. But during the day, like you said, it's hot outside. I go outside for a second. I'm like, wow, it's way hotter out here than it is inside my house. So, I have like a 1800s like Victorian place that I'm in. So yeah, it's just not made for that. But yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Schools, they do have air conditioning. A lot of times it takes like you can't just go turn it on. Like they need like some kind of executive order. It takes weeks and months for it to happen. They're always freezing for a few weeks when the winter hits and like boiling until it finally happens.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And because it's in May, they don't even think, they're not even allowed to turn them on. They're not allowed to even think about turning them on until June. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
I think heat probably costs more than cold. Who knows? But yeah, my day was not as crazy as that. I mean, stuff happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can make most things sound exciting because I'm good at that, but it would just be some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really stressed trying to get lots of done. Send you a thumbnail. We're gonna get a thumbnail going on, baby.
Yeah. Thumbnails here at KPHR Hamilton and YouTube at Hutch Henry's. All right, let's talk some wrestling. So we talked about this briefly, and it's the curious case of Ring of Honor. Banger matches, but the card just looked so freaking weak. So honestly, I watched bits and pieces. I watched Swerve at the very end of things. But what's your take on Ring of Honor? Because this is a little promotion that both of us really loved.
Dude, love me some ROH. Get out of here then if you're gonna like I seal off my room from my cats, but my cat came in here and she's like meowing at me, rolling around. And I got 4 cats.
Cat came back.
There's only one female, and she's very different. And she comes in, she's like meow meow, and like rolls around. Like,
Daddy's girl.
And she I don't even know. Everybody's girl. Like she's a whore. Like it's just she. I don't think it's. But she's very different. She's all like and she loves to just go like not stop. She'll just get louder and louder, but not like aggressive, kind of just like more lyrical and loud until you're like, all right, get out of here. And well, you're back. Well, I'm just going to snag you and put you on camera. She's got a small head. She's nothing special. You're nothing special. Get out of here. You're just a cat. There you go. Maybe that'll work. Everybody loves their cat. Speaking of cats, like I can't believe I'm just editing Plancha Tendencies so behind. That's coming out. I wanted it to come out after this show, but it's actually going to come out in the morning. But yeah, like he had a Gatabella. I kept calling her Guatabella throughout the match, even though I knew it was Gatubella. It's like she's like the female cat, but somehow I kept switching to Guatabella throughout the match. So like I'm listening back to it. I'm like, oh man, I'm crazy. But hey, what else? Can we can talk about wrestling, like you said.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor. I didn't watch any Ring of Honor. I love it, like you said. But it's a sad case that I didn't even check out the Swerve stuff. I didn't check out any of it. Yeah. Did you hear that? She waited for me to stop talking.
Right there, right? It's what does Ring of Honor need to do to get you back?
I don't even know if I have the headspace to talk about that. You know how involved I get. Like I've literally like scripted out things of what they could do, but the product needs to be taken seriously in some fashion. The product needs to get away from Tony. It needs to stop being like this weird secondary little brand.
They need to either. Here's my thing. Sorry for cutting you off, and this might percolate in your brain to get you on a rant because I need a 5-minute break. They either need to embrace and just be developmental, where people can get their rounds, yada yada yada, or they need to completely separate from anything AEW and run Ring of Honor as a separate entity. But this middle, whatever they do with Ring of Honor, it's just not working. And I think what really hurts them, obviously, is the whole being on the internet exclusive, being on Honor Club exclusive.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you really want me to rant, they need to do something with McGuinness and Bryan. I mean, they're both on commentary, and literally, like, they've had a rivalry forever. Bryan's amicable when he talks about it, puts over McGuinness, and McGuinness always shits on Bryan. So, like, you've got the heel face dynamic. You've got Daniel Bryan when he does work commentary, when his neck is good enough and they're working close enough to his home. He always takes over for McGuinness. Like, McGuinness will work like the first half, and then Daniel Bryan comes in. So, like, there's like, it's like, you think you're better than me? God damn. They need to somehow have a rivalry where McGuinness gets ROH or something like that. But it needs to, completely split off, which is why I think McGuinness, it needs to be a heel thing where he takes it away from Tony in some fashion. And then he lets Daniel come in some fashion, or Tony puts Daniel in somehow. Danielson, sorry. But it does need to get away from AEW completely. Needs to tour. I mean, WWE is they're coming back with the house shows now. Have you heard this?
We're actually going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. But also, NXT's been touring a lot more. Last week, they were up in the Northeast. They were in Buffalo. They were in Cincinnati. They were in Cleveland. They had a pretty good tour last weekend. I wish I knew they were in Buffalo. I would have gone to that Buffalo show. I think Penta worked that show.
Really interesting. All right, and it's great that they're touring but they always have toured. It's great they're touring more. But the news, it's newsworthy to talk about that WWE is returning to the house show loop, and the reasons are. Previously, everybody would talk about the median age of their top stars. Everybody, the AJ Styles, the Kevin Steens, the Sammys, everybody, Roman, Punk, Cody, go on and on. They're all older. So, and they're all experienced. So they don't need house shows. They need less bumps. They don't need the reps. Now that they're bringing in all these young guys, think of all the top guys. You got Javon, you got Trick, you got Oba, you got all these young guys coming in. Even Ethan Page, who's on very much a veteran, but not in what WWE wants. So give him more of that. Plus, they get to have fun. Plus, they can bring down ticket prices for fans to come and see these fun shows. So then you can still, obviously they're not going to stop. You can have your higher prices for things, but you can still say we have an offering for families. You can anti-Shapiro yourself. And I just in general get reps in for the guys. That's what they need, these younger guys. So that's what Tony needs to do with ROH, except perhaps they need to sign to ROH. I think it needs to be storyline, and it needs to get away. Either that, or they need to somehow make a triple crown. You're such a mark. Take your ROH, take your AEW, and take one of your other titles, like hype it up big time, do something with it to make it really worthy. Do like a New Japan IC over IWGP for that year, when they got in. Something to make it a big deal and make yourself a triple crown, or buy some other company, get MLW, or really get the NWA title. Like NWA has been better just recently, which is nice, but they're using nobody talent. Like, you never know who these people are. And Billy Corgan's really doesn't seem to have the chops for this. He's been doing it for a while now. And with the TNA stuff, he doesn't seem to be very good at it. And who am I to talk, really? But that's a title that you could bring in that could have some clout. You bought the NWA, you are working with Billy Corgan now, and I don't know. And then you put those 3 titles together and you've got yourself like a real triple crown championship. Go with that. But something other than what they're doing now, that's for sure. Because it's getting bad. And Bandito, man, what's with Bandito and Athena? I think Athena, 2 final battles, not in a row, but with a year between. Billy Starks beating Billy Starks. When's this Billy Stark thing? When are they going to pull the trigger on that? Is Athena going to win the Owen Hart this year? I think she could. Is she going to go in there with the title still? Man, this forever champ thing. And Bandito too. if you think about it, Bandito was champ. The reason they gave him the title is he was champ kind of before the Sinclair buyout, like, and then all that convoluted stuff with Jonathan Gresham, and then the 2 title belts and all that stuff. I don't know, man. Like, it's just super stale. Like, if you want to love it, you're like Bandito and Athena and like the women's pure television championship. Do they have one of those now? Like, what the hell is going on, Tony?
They have the pure, yep.
They have the pure title and the pure television title, right? And the women's, so they got the women's title, the women's television title, the women's pure title, and the women's pure television title. Do they have that?
No.
Okay.
No, just TV, pure, and women's.
Okay, good.
But that's a perfect thing, right? Even like ROH, even having 3-4 belts within each division is too much. It's too much.
Yeah, like Women of Honor was like a hard sell for years for them. They tried. But hey, I love Ring of Honor. We need more brands. Like, bring in another Billy. Dude, Billy Corgan obviously is a huge mark. So like, make it so that like okay, what did they do with what was the guy, and they had Masvidal come in and like something like Top Team America? What was dude?
Yeah.
He was like a Josh Barnett something looking
like
type.
That. Yeah,
dude. You know what I'm talking about, right? Somebody in the chat, like, say it, who this guy was. But when they at the beginning of AEW, Billy Corgan's not great on the mic, and he's kind of awkward and he's eggheaded. But like, somehow he needs to like challenge Tony Khan, and then he wins in some fashion. So now he has control of Joe. There we go, Joe Thornton in there. Everyone gets a title. So then Corgan has control of ROH. Now he's got these 2 titles, and he's made like a unified championship in some fashion. And like, Corgan's not controlling it in any fashion. He's just a figurehead. Like, it's probably like they can still give him whatever he wants as a mark. Like, give him a Bruce Thorpe position. Like, here you go. You are the authority figure. You're the guy who comes out. You're the guy that people think's in charge. But in fact, it's you and me, Tony Khan and Billy Corgan, position A, position B, both financing. Let's go forward. And like, it can seem as though it's like an invasion, and he takes off and does his own thing, which he has been doing. But somehow you get rid of the NWA Power name. You lean hard on the ROH, and somehow you help him with production. Get Danielson in there, McGuinness in there, or like anybody. Could even be like, McGuinness was the one who was betraying him from within. And he's like, me and Billy Corgan, mate. And now I'm the general manager of ROH. I'm in charge now. Suck it. Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't take a lot. But I don't know. What's basically what we're both trying to say, I think. And I don't like speaking for you, but I will right now. Something's got to change. Something's got to change, because right now it's just a stale product.
Yeah,
outside of the pay-per-views. Yeah, there you go. There's a rant. Any chance that you've been watching any New Japan lately? Right now they're on the Best of the Super Juniors round.
I've downloaded the 3 of the nights. I don't know if a 4th has happened. I am planning to watch. It's just been rough. The thing with New Japan is you want to watch it. You don't just want to like. So I can kind of watch some other wrestling while I'm doing things and it's on. There's like New Japan you want to watch. So you're stuck sitting down and watching wrestling. So
It's only been 3 shows so far.
Okay, good. So I'm not behind.
Nope. And right now, Titan is a leading Group A, Block A, with 8 points. Taguchi with 6 points. Master Wato with 4 points. Robbie X with 4 points. And so on. And then Block B, we have Yo with 6 points. Sho with 6 points. And Sasaki with 6 points. El Desperado with 4 points. And Night 4 was this morning. There you go.
All right. I'll go check it out. I really know. I'm not into Master Wato. I want to be, but
I'm not into him.
Yeah, and I want to be into.
But it is interesting seeing Yo and Sho kind of duke it out for Block B. I hope that's a story that they tell throughout this tournament.
Yeah, maybe. Has Yo like turned heel now as well? Man, I got to catch up, because I thought he did something. I don't know. It's been a while, and I'm embarrassed because it was also one of my faves. Like, dude, there was a time, rewind a couple of years, even 4 or 5 years, I would have never, you wouldn't be able to mention anything about ROH or New Japan, and I wouldn't have an answer or wouldn't have seen it most likely. And now it's kind of like, I have more things going on, and WWE is easier to access. and I almost feel obligated to watch that at AEW more because we talk about it now. Whereas before being like, I don't care about Raw, I'm gonna watch New Japan. Well, now like you're gonna ask me questions about Raw, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know, but Callum Newman, buddy. And you'll be like, what? So, but I do love it. I do want to get around to it. If we made more money at this, I wouldn't have to day job, and then I could just wrestle all the time, wrestle watch, right? So we need to get some super chats going on and a Patreon and all that stuff.
Patreon, absolutely, we need. We need to talk about that. But yeah, so turning the page. We're gonna let's quickly talk some TNA, because last week there was an excellent match. It was a best 2 out of 3 falls match for the X Division Championship. Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander. If you get a chance, watch this match. It was awesome. Leon Slater, champion for 298 days. 1 day shy of breaking the record and not only being the youngest X Division champion, but the longest running X Division champion. But that didn't happen. Cedric Alexander beat him on Impact. It was a great match. It was really, really good. Impact, they have their episodes where it's not bad. It ranges from not bad to half decent.
They have their matches more than they have their episodes.
They have their matches.
Yeah. And it's like they have something in the episode that makes you want to watch it. So is that a good?
But then there's also something in the episode that makes you want to just yeet yourself off a balcony or something.
Yes. Well, speaking of yeeting and speaking of something bad in an episode and maybe one thing worth tuning in for, maybe we should talk about Raw.
Let's talk about Raw. Raw Monday night. It's funny. I actually watched this one live. It was the first time I've watched wrestling live in a very long time. And holy F, my friend.
You were surprised. Everybody's surprised. They got
Well,
us.
Here's the thing. Considering that a week ago we were just saying, the Usos, it's they're gonna join Jacob, and that's it. That's it. So clearly WWE listened to our show and said, you know what? We're gonna F them over. We're gonna swerve them. Because that was a hell of an opening segment.
Yeah, but they could still turn. There's still a lot on the bone there, but that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about Brock Lesnar.
So I was going to talk about that, but yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about the Usos first. Think about the Usos here. If they do turn that, I was thinking, hey, you know what? This is wrestling. They can do the good old swerve, the switcheroo. But I'm like, that's Russo booking. That's so Russo booking.
All right. So as you know, I go off in many different directions. It's hard not to. What's even worse is I found this writing assistant AI for some of the stories and books that I'm writing and comic books and things, and it'll give me a thread off one way. I'll type in basically I'm oh, I'm here, and instead of not where sometimes you're what do I do next, or what should the how is this going to progress my story, and writing backwards sometimes. But then there's times where it just goes off in 5 direct. You're well, I can do all these things, and they all lead to different. And you tell AI which one do you think is going to coalesce back to this, or which idea is the smoothest, easiest to digest, not so complicated. Which one's it'll give you other ideas. And I'm God damn it! Now you give me. I don't want more ideas. I want you to tell me which of my ideas is best. I don't need your ideas. You're not even real. Damn it! But it's better than my idea. Damn it! Okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get it. But that's the plight of the wrestling fan right there. They get all these ideas, but the problem with a lot of wrestling and the IWC is when none of these are right, they get mad.
Oh yeah, totally. That's why you can a lot of things, so many TV shows or so many things we anticipate, we think about it for so long, and then it can never live up to it. That's why
The Boys ending. For those who watch The Boys.
Basically, you can't leave people hanging forever. You gotta give them the idea, and then you gotta follow through quick before people can ruminate on it. But anyway, speaking of all the different threads, what made me start talking about that? You asked me a question. Oh yeah, Usos and Bloodline, bro. Jacob Fatu cannot lose this next match.
No.
And here's the thing. Somebody how many tribal combat? He was about to say we're done with you. What were they saying as they went up the ramp? Jacob. Adam Pearce said something to them.
It's over. We're done.
It's over.
They're basically brushing him off.
Tribal combat. He's and he's I have to.
Yeah.
I accept. Okay, so what's the big deal with tribal combat? It's nothing. It's just your average plunder WWE match the original stipulation, and I remember being really angry about this, the stipulation was no interference. And the whole thing we'd been having with the Bloodline at that point was like surprise hooded guys and constant interference, and like Kevin Owens getting beaten for like a year straight couldn't get a one-on-one shot.
The J Tribal Combat matches, right? Remember those?
All of that stuff. Yeah, but okay, the J Tribal Combat, like nothing really came of it. There was nothing special, and there was interference in that match. Then the next Tribal Combat was the Solo Sikoa. I think there was interference. Whatever stipulation there was. What was that?
It was the debut Raw.
Yeah, so yeah, on Netflix, the debut Raw. And I think those are the only two that they've had. So yeah, there's been interference. There was a match against Cody, but that was Bloodline rules. Yeah. Which, of course, as everybody knows, is there's a huge difference between Bloodline rules and Tribal Combat. It's like Queensberry rules. It's like a chasm of difference.
Say what you want. At least it's not a Punjabi prison match.
At least a Punjabi prison match is something. Like you have to have the cage and the bamboo. Like Tribal Combat is like they didn't even have like tiki torches or anything last time. Like, it was just literally a no DQ match.
They'll add a bunch of tiki torches, a rotisserie pork. You know that's what
it's like. Pinfall and submission only, no interference allowed. But then it was allowed. As a tribal chief, can't be okay. So the challenge can't be refused. That's Tribal Combat. What Tribal Combat it should be like Black Panther. Like he gets to be the tribal chief.
So that's exactly it, right? That was the whole point of the Solo
J one, really,
match.
kind of, yeah. And the Solo Sikoa match. So he gets to be tribal chief if he beats him. Kendall, shut up, Joe. Kendall from Hell match. Because it's not about acknowledging him, right? Because he was supposed to acknowledge him this last time that he didn't win. I don't know if it was in the contract, but like Roman is being like, yo, that he has to acknowledge me. No, the reason I'm here is he's supposed to acknowledge me. And they were like, Jacob's not here yet. What do you mean? He's supposed to acknowledge me today. Yeah. So if they write that in the contract as part of it, then that obviously means nothing. But I guess you would be acknowledging him if you become tribal chief. So that's great, man. Fucking beat Roman. He becomes tribal chief. And he needs to win the title. You can't just keep shitting on him. He can't become like the fourth member of the Bloodline. You know how if you really want to do a Russo swerve, that's a good swerve. Is like when Jacob wins, it's like a total shock. You know, like Roman's like, can't believe it. He's like, he's the tribal chief. Now, like, he get maybe on Raw, he's getting the Ula Fala and he's got the title. And now he's like, one more thing, Roman, when he's giving him the Ula Fala, he has to give it to him. Or like maybe Heyman does, but he's like, no, I want Roman to give it to me. Roman puts the Ula Fala on it. And as they're leaving, he's one more thing. You need to acknowledge me. And like, if he does, or if he decides not to, then that's when the Usos like, bam, turn. Like Usos are there with him the whole time, like staring at Jacob, like they're not happy. Like, and he's like, yeah, that's right. They turn on Roman, bam. Super kick when he won't do the acknowledgement. Or if he does acknowledge it, he gets down on his knees and he's like, I acknowledge you. The Usos can super kick him then too. Bam, whatever. You know, there's your heel, there's your swerve. And now he's there with.
Here's the thing, though, at the end of the day, right? If there is a logical reason why they swerve, like, hey, Roman isn't following the Bloodline rules or something like that, it makes sense. But I don't want to see a swerve where they just turn on him and this has been our plan the entire time.
Okay, well, it could be very Ric Flair, right? After he's been acknowledged, he's like, he puts the Ulufala on him or something, and he's like, you are now tribal chief. He's got the title belt. He's got the Ulufala. Yes. You know, the Usos can go from standing beside Roman, they can walk over and turn around and stand beside Jacob. And they don't have to look happy about it. They can be like,
That's logical.
Like, now, one more thing. You need to acknowledge me. Yes, it's logical. I hear you. I'm sorry. Well, now you need to acknowledge me. And when he won't,
you need to acknowledge me when I speak. Sorry.
That's not what I mean. So when he won't acknowledge him, that's when he's like looking at the Usos. The Usos are like, we're sorry. You know, that's your Ric Flair moment. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Bam. And they have to super kick him. Right. If he loses, or if it's not going to be the Usos, but that's before I move on. This is a way of making when Roman returns, Roman is now a face, right? Because you've got crazy Jacob, who's been using the Tongan death grip when he shouldn't. And he's like, now the Usos are with him under duress and they're trying to talk to him, but he's like, he's insane. He's going more crazy. He's going money crazy. The animal is now mixed with like the money and the corporate. He's got everything. He's got so much power. He can't handle it. He's Tony Montana. He's like face first in the cocaine. He's like, Tongan death gripping everybody down the hallway. Like the time Shawn Michaels went down the hallway, chipping, kicking everybody. Just, he's insane. And the Usos are like, are we going to stop this freaking guy? And Roman comes back. Roman Reigns, the hero. They're like, Roman, we don't want to fight you, but we have to. Remember when, and like maybe Paul Heyman, if he gets away from Jacob could be like, come after him. They had a fight. They destroy the Vision because he's like, I want Paul Heyman. And then Paul Heyman goes back to the like undyed hair and like all like when he's like shaking and shit, when he has like the bags under his eyes. He's like, I work for Jacob now. I'm sorry, my tribal. I'm sorry, Roman. And he's like, oh, there's a lot there, right?
Or they can bring in the only manager who can contain a wild Samoan, Armando Estrada.
Dude, I love that. Maybe he gets destroyed. The WWE brings him in. I was like, I just need to talk to you
for one night.
It would be good. But hey, if you want to go a different way, Tonga Tom, the father of Jacob Fatu, the Fiji kid, the guy who was in the movie Body Slam with Roddy Piper, the guy who was in the original Islanders with Rikishi, with Fatu, the guy who's like, I think one of the older ones. But anyways, he doesn't have the accolades that the others have. Like he ended up getting replaced and they tried to bring in some other guys. And like, he wasn't the Barbarian. He wasn't Sione. He wasn't all these guys that moved forward. He was just gone all of a sudden after like the mid 80s and a little bit of NWA stuff, but he never got the due. He never got the post respect. We talk about him, right? Because he was on WWE program for quite a while and he was like their Samoan guy. And he was like, and
in canon, the reason why all Samoans have the hard head. And I love how that's always been the canon throughout the years, the decades in WWE world.
Like he's like the younger, like the cousin of like the offense Sika, and they were there and they were the big names. He was like just off to the side. So then you've got Roman as like Sika's son or Offen's son, whichever one. And you've got Rikishi, the Usos, and Solo is their brother. So this is the original Bloodline, right? It's almost like if Roman was their brother as well, it'd be even better. But they're the original Bloodline. So you've now gotten rid of Jeff Cobb, who has no connection to them whatsoever. You've gotten rid of Tangaloa, who's like not that great. And you've got the other two, right? You've got Tala and you've got Tama, who are the adopted sons of Haku, who was the Tongan death grip guy. So if you need to have a bloodline that's not these guys, you know, Jacob wins the belt or Jacob loses because the Usos interfere. Like there's some reason why Jacob lost and he's not like, well, it's the same old crap, man. You Usos helped you out. You can't do it. You screwed me over, right? Somehow he gets those guys to turn on Solo. So now you've got, he's like, hey, like my father, you guys have never respected my father. He was here before all of you. Your father, Rikishi, got his opportunities because my father brought him in as his tag team partner. The original Islanders. He said, I need a guy. If it wasn't for my father, you would have nothing. He's like, and none of you respect my father. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Nobody talks about him around here. And he's like, and these two guys, they've always been outsiders. They're adopted. And even though they're in the family, they both feel it every day. They're not really part of the family. They can feel that they're on the outside. And he's like, you know, I got the Tongan Death Group. I'm with these guys. And they beat up Solo. And they're like, Solo, no, you've been handed this. Roman even said he approved all of this second bloodline stuff for you. You're the Usos' younger brother. You were handpicked from day one, brought in from NXT. Yeah, it's like Mickey with Rocky. He's like, nah, they were genuine fighters, but they weren't killers. They were handpicked, you know? So it's like they get rid of him. He's like, you guys, you're like the corporate, you're the nepotism bloodline. You were saying giving me a shot as nepotism. He's like, we're the freaking street, we're the heart. He's like, you never wanted me here. Now that I'm here, I got it all.
Yeah.
Right?
This would be a great story. But for Zilla Fatu. Because his dad's been disrespected the entire time as well. His dad's only been recently mentioned again.
Zilla Fatu, that's Umaga's son?
Umaga's kid. Yep.
All right. Yeah, you could bring Zilla in. I would love to see somebody like bigger, badder somehow.
Yeah.
Like Zilla seems like just too young and too small.
Well,
like,
what happened to the 3-minute warning? Like those size guys.
There's got to be somebody big they can bring in, like something that is meaningful. But anyways, like you've got there's so many different options, like of ways to go, you know. And I'm just making this stuff up off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So like,
hey, here's the thing. It's funny. Like, anyways, I don't want to get into how WWE does their creative. But the other big story from Monday Night Raw that we'll talk about before moving on to a bunch of cards is the return of Brock Lesnar. I think that shocked everyone.
Yeah,
See, it was a pretty good episode of Raw. I don't know. I was speechless.
It wasn't.
I was speechless.
I mean, the fact that the Usos attacked Jacob, it was a good opening segment, I guess. But really, like, they're going to be doing this for the next little while. Like, this is what they do with this storyline.
Maybe
if Clash in Italy wasn't next weekend, if it was 3 weekends from now, there would just be more of this for 3 weeks. But anyways, fine. It was entertaining. I do enjoy this stuff. It's the most entertaining Bloodline stuff that's happened since Bloodline 1.0 died. Everything past like the Sammy main event tag team thing. And like maybe moving into the Cody realm, but like the actual Bloodline storyline. Yeah, like this is the most interesting thing since then. And it's like not really even close because this isn't like let them cook kind of like it's art, it's story, it's drama. It's just like, yeah, it's decent. It's the most interesting thing since. But that's like, you know, up there could be arguably the best and definitely top 3 or 4 storylines in WWE history. Right. So it better be with how long it took. Geez, where was I about to go with that? Oh yeah, so Brock. Like Brock, lying is not that surprising. What am I trying to say? You caught me off guard there. So basically, like, you know, my girl always says to kids that make up jokes, you know, when a little kid is to you like, hey, did you see that? And I'm like, what? Where? Over there? Haha, no, I'm joking. And I'm like, okay, you're joking, you're lying. You know, so that I know it's funny, but lies aren't that funny. You can always get someone with a lie, so it's not that smart. So like, if your gotcha is I lied to you and you fell for it, it's like, okay, well, that's a very specific type of joke. It's a very specific type of story. It's a very specific type of surprise. You didn't bait me in. You just full on lied to me. And they're okay, great. I'm surprised and I'm interested and I'm talking about it on my podcast and they're writing articles about it, but you lied. You like took your boots off and your shit off and you and Paul pretended to cry. And now like, so, okay, it worked. But I could probably write down a couple of lies and I could probably fool a couple of people and be like, ha, gotcha. And they'd be like, yeah, well, because I believed you. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So, but yeah, still very interesting. Most interesting thing. Does that make sense?
I know exactly what you mean. But this is the thing. This is what WWE's turning into. And I don't know whether this is
lazy booking, Jim Cornette.
Yes. But now it is lazy booking based on the fact that, hey, you have to create content for the Netflix documentary. So this is a perfect thing. And I feel like every year we're going to get one of these. Last year being the whole Seth Rollins injury, right? Like how many, like this is turning a bit into a boy who cries wolf type of thing.
Yeah, but we also don't know. I mean, Brock's the kind of guy. Brock does what he wants, right? He's got FU money. He's also got FU attitude. And like, no, even if you had the same, like, what are you going to step to Brock Lesnar? He's going to crush you. So maybe he did want to retire. Maybe they were like, hey, I want to retire at Mania. Well, we want you till SummerSlam. Maybe his diverticulitis was hurting in the ring. He didn't like taking the pop-up Powerball. Oh God, that freaking hurt. You know what? No, I'm done. Could be real where they convinced him afterwards. Listen, we really need this. We really need you to like lead him along till SummerSlam so we can bring him into Mania next year and put the title on him. This is our new John Cena thing. You know, you beating you was the US title and next year he's going to become champ. So let's do this. And they might have convinced him to come back, right? I'd like to think it was something more like that. Maybe Brock it was his time of the month. Brock was being emotional and he's like, I'm done. Like, for real. Okay, fine. Give me some money. I mean, I also like, I don't think Brock's ever going to really retire. I think it's not like Cena, who, you know, never's coming back. He said the George are never coming back. He's got the Hollywood contracts, the insurance for movies, things like that. He can't bump, right? And he's a great guy, Smiley. He's getting better all the time. I can't wait to see the Coyote movie. Can you imagine they weren't going to release that with him like being like the courtroom freaking guy? Amazing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so awesome. But like Brock can come back forever. He can not be around for 3 years and then come back. Are you telling me he's not going to come back for Saudi money at Mania next year? Please. They're going to raise the corpses of dudes for that kind of money. Iron Sheik's going to be like, hey, Bubba, I'm coming, jabroni. Hey, they're going to like raise from the dead for a payday.
Pretty much. All right. Saturday night's main event is happening this Saturday, May the 20. What is it? 3rd? Yes, 3rd. May 23rd, 2026. Yeah, is it? Oh, look at that. I know a lot of people's birthdays over the next 2 weeks. It's crazy. All right. Let us go through the card. First off, we have for the Women's Tag Team Championships, Paige and Brie Bella versus the Irresistible Forces. Who do you think is going to
win? I think the Forces.
I think so too.
I don't think there's a lot of chemistry there between Bella and Paige. They had their moments. They didn't get stripped. They didn't get Cardoned. They didn't get stripped the next night or beaten. You know, Paige Brie Bella's gonna break. I don't want to see her break. Okay. So
yeah, I know.
I don't want to see her wrestle.
I think you're right. I think we're gonna get new champs there. Now is a singles match: Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca.
Non-title. Weird.
Non-title, which means Sol's gonna win.
What? It means what?
I think Sol's gonna win this match especially now that it's non-title.
Yes. Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's your swerve, right? Becky's gonna win.
Bet?
I might as well. What are we gonna bet?
I don't know.
Okay, we need to bathe. Okay, I'll bathe, and you can start smoking. Weird things.
There we go.
That we don't do.
There we go. We have a 6 women's tag team match: Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab.
I think you need to have like Jade Cargill like beat somebody, like put like. There's some shenanigans, and she puts down Rhea, and she beats her, and then you're gonna move into your next SummerSlam or your next major event and have that happen because they had an okay match, and like you can't. The Jade Cargill train's still making money, and who's else is Rhea gonna fight? Like, that's what I think is gonna happen there, or what should happen.
I agree with you. I think this is, Jade took the L at WrestleMania. This is the rehab win. Not only is it going to be a rehab win, she's going to decimate someone. Someone's going to be taking a vacation after this, I think. All right. Tag team match for the world.
With the house show loop, hopefully we'll get some more reps. B-Fab can be in there with Michin, who I hate to say it, is she's been around the Indies. She's had a lot of matches under her belt. So she's, kind of okay. But really, dude, Jade should dump these 2 broads and get in with Irresistible Forces. I wasn't even thinking about that till you just said it just now. Boom, imagine her stepping up with those 2 rods instead. Okay, now you're a powerhouse. Now after you get something like me versus my girls, and then that's different girls, it's these 2 instead, and then bam, she becomes champ. That's a powerhouse. The tag team and Jade Cargill being protected by those 2. I don't know. They've got chops and they've got a mouth. I don't want to hear B-Fab or Michin talk, but hearing Lash Legend talk is kind of fun. And like I've kind of got a soft spot now for Nia Jax because she has disdain for wrestling fans. So like she's kind of like, that's right, I'm a wrestler. That's right, I'm back. I'm still here. Like I don't know. I kind of like that she's a bitch.
Tag team championship match: The Visions, Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Street Profits.
I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea.
Seems so random.
Like Profits are
seems so random.
It all seems so random.
Let's fire release all of the tag teams, and let's put some highlight on this like now decimated tag team division. And why are there still 2 tag team divisions? Please merge them.
Like they should, like maybe now. What about Montez Ford in the Vision? Like we're not quite as a duck out of water as Andrade is with them, with it like, but a little more like the glasses, the jewelry, like boom. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. Do I care? When I say I don't know, it means that I don't care. Because that I can come up with something out of nowhere. I'll be like, I don't know, maybe they should land, and I'll talk for 10 minutes, but I don't even care.
But that's the whole thing. The fact that you don't care, the fact that a lot of people don't care, the fact that people aren't forgetting that the tag team division from both Raw and SmackDown were decimated with releases. Here we go. Singles match for the WWE IC title, Penta versus Ethan Page.
Might be time for Penta to drop this belt. Ethan Page could really use it. I don't really know what's going to happen. But that should be fun. This is Saturday night's main event we're doing right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, like I'm trying to think what would be the main event here. And
Penta and Ethan.
Yeah, Penta and Ethan. We had the IC title match for the girls is non-title. We just mentioned the only other title match would be the tag title match, and I think something's going to happen there that's not the title switch won't be the focus. Something's going to happen with Rollins and Dawkins and them and so yeah, I think you're looking at a title switch here. Yeah, they've been for years, Joe. They've been using this profit split.
Yep. All right. AEW Double or Nothing happening this Sunday, Memorial Day long weekend in the US of A from New York's Arthur Ashe Stadium. All right, we have Okada versus Takeshita for the International Championship.
No idea. Takeshita. I always want to say Takeshita, and I'm always wrong. So
I know.
Who knows what's
This
going
can
on.
go both ways. This can go either way.
That's AEW. You never know what's going to happen. Okay, go through it quick because we still need to talk about Danhausen.
Yeah, I know, right? FTR versus Cage and Cope.
Is it going to be? You know what's happening? What?
I quit match, and if Cage and Cope lose, they cannot be a tag team anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So they're winning.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to Vancouver in August.
Toronto.
Or is it Toronto?
It's Montreal.
Okay, I knew it wasn't here. I was like, wow, because I knew it wasn't here. But I thought it was Vancouver.
Montreal. We already did Vancouver. Dynasty was in Vancouver.
All right. I do opinions, not accuracy, okay?
I do accuracy, not opinions.
Yes.
Stadium Stampede match. Oh my God, that's a lot of names. Jericho, the Hurt Syndicate, and the Elites, Kenny Omega, Jungle Jack Perry, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson versus the Demands, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. The Don Callis families, Mark Davis, Andrade El Idolo, and the Dogs, Clark Connors, and David Finlay.
I don't know, like feel good match. Good guys are going to win. It doesn't really matter. Like the whole match is just going to be insanity and chaos, and then someone's going to somehow win. So it doesn't really matter. This will be insanity. It'll be nice to see Jericho doing his thing. I'm wondering what happens with the Hurt Syndicate in the future. I'm glad they're there. I'm glad they're back. And this will all be fun. And Toa Leona and Bishop Khan, they're getting like, we all want this, right? We all like, they deserve to be out there. There's something about Leona.
I love them since the ROH days. Like they've been awesome. Anyways.
Yeah, and Ricochet's, this is the best version of Ricochet that's ever been. So like, let's just keep going. I'm fine.
4-way for the Women's World Champion.
The dog's got to do something. And I know like they haven't been that great since they've arrived, but put them in there.
Here we are. A match like this is a match that they're going to excel in, right?
Yeah.
Can I continue?
Well, no, because I was actually thinking he's about to speak, and then I'm going to speak. I was going to say this is going to be harder for the cameraman and the production staff than anybody else. So now you can go.
All right, 4-way for the AEW Women's World Championship. Tekla versus Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander.
I think Tekla. I think this is going to lead to something. Whatever they're doing with Shida is probably going to happen here. Let's hope.
Yep.
Although knowing Tony Khan, it'll happen on Collision because he loves to do promos about what's going to happen on Collision. So tune into Collision,
right?
And then he has the thing happen on Collision and then never mentions it again. And you're like, what happened? And then you assume what you're watching now on Dynamite. Oh, this happened on Collision. And they might say, this is what happened on Collision. And you're like, okay, but they never show you footage of it, but they will sure as hell promo the fact that you should watch Collision because something is going to happen. So yeah,
you know what they need, remember the X-Men 97 voice previously on X-Men, and then you get the little spark. They need that for AEW.
That would be great. Previously on AEW, they probably like that would work. AEW could
for AEW it would. Yes. All right. Men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinals, Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay.
Dude, Ospreay after like a wicked match of some sort. Joe's gonna be in like peak form here, teaching Ospreay a lesson and doing all the stuff, and it'll be fun.
I agree. We have another quarterfinal match for the men's Owen Hart Cup. We have Bandito versus Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have Swerve over, maybe Bandito over. Who knows here? This could lead to more storyline where he then gets a shot at the title because he should have won, but Bandito went forward. It depends. I don't see the brackets in front of me, so it really depends on the brackets because tournaments, you want face heel dynamic. So we'll see what happens. But I'd love to see Swerve take this title from Bandito. And, Hurt Syndicate, maybe they can move over with Swerve and MVP move over there too. They can do something on ROH. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm thinking, let me take a look real quick. We have, my mouse went. All right, that's done. I was going to look to see, because I have a feeling that Swerve and Bandito.
You got mouse problems. I got cat problems.
I have, there you go. Sorry. So what I was going to say was I have a weird feeling that Ospreay and Swerve are going to be on opposite brackets.
Okay, cool. So you think it's going to be Swerve moving through to the end? That's great. Sounds good to me. That's the best ending possible, if I recall, out of all the people in it. Like Mark Davis. Is Mark Davis going to hit Ospreay at some point? So I think he'll move through his first round match.
Swerve and Will Ospreay are on opposite brackets.
All right. Is Davis in the same bracket as Ospreay?
No.
No?
Yes. Mark Davis and Jack Perry and then
So I
takes
think you're
on
gonna get
the winner of Ospreay and Joe.
Yeah, so I think Davis moving through a big win on Perry to dispel the fact that he won the title through nefarious means. Being like, no, here, bam, now I beat you straight up. So you're out of this title picture, and I can be Mark Davis, the champion nobody thought would be champion for a while.
Yeah, and then Mark Davis versus Will Ospreay, I'm assuming. And on the other side, you have Swerve Strickland, Bandito, and Claudio Castagnoli and Brody King.
Yeah, that'll be a banger. I don't know who's going forward there. It'll all be depending on who's like next for them to fight. But for
Swerve
sure, Mark Davis is gonna.
Bandito.
Yeah, so yeah, okay, so depending on who. Mark Davis is gonna like beat up Will Ospreay, so he's coming into the finals like hurt. Like, I got pile drived on freaking through 10 playing off the freaking rafters, like freaking Zangief.
Women's Owen Hart quarterfinal match. We have Willow Nightingale versus Alex Windsor.
I don't know. Windsor. I don't know. I almost don't care.
So. And then the title versus hair match for the AEW World Championship, Darby Allin versus MJF.
I guess MJF, because I mean Darby's been packing in the wins.
The whole story with Darby, collapsing. He's tired. He's broken himself as world champion. They're kind of setting that story up, right?
They could do like a dramatic last time on AEW, like
or Shawn Michaels, circa whatever that was, 95, 96.
The soap opera beginning you were talking about, like it would all be
the X-Men
losing his hair. Or X-Men, like losing his hair would be all like they could do like a dramatic soap opera thing. But yeah, anyways, that'll be fun. That's on Sunday, right?
That's on Sunday, correct.
All right,
so we'll be talking about that next week. Let us
sleep in that night. Like when's that ending?
So here's the thing.
When the hell is that ending?
We talked about this last Saturday when we were on the phone, and it was, we would do a live show, but number one, AEW goes way too long. We all work on Monday because it's not a holiday for us, but it's because it's a holiday in the States. I have a feeling this show is ending at like 1 a.m. I don't know. I have this weird feeling.
All right. We'll see.
And these are the matches as of Wednesday night, right? We still have all of Dynamite to get through. I'm sure that there will be 0-hour matches. I'm sure there will be a couple more pay-per-view matches. It is going to be a full card in AEW. Hutch, Danhausen, and Baron Corbin?
Yeah, dude. So, okay, the segment where he had like the clone under the sheet, there was a lot of scuttlebutt about it being Baron Corbin signing back with WWE. If you think about his so he had minis, right? So now he's got to have somebody that's way bigger than him.
Bigger.
Yeah, somehow he's like, oh, I combined a bunch of them together. There's too many of them. They were annoying, man. Like I Play-Doh'd them together, like Transformers, like Devastator. Hey, it's good. And like his chest tattoos, right? He's got those weird chest tattoos of like the crystals and stuff. Does he still have that? Has he changed it? Yeah. And does he wear? He doesn't wear a shirt when he does the ML.
He doesn't wear a shirt anymore.
Stuff. So imagine him with the exact Danhausen like get up and the makeup and everything, maybe with some slight adjustments since Danhausen he has a trademark. So maybe if this is going to be a character that Corbin's going to do for a while, maybe slightly different. Anyways, nitpick. Basically, exact same Danhausen outfit, but with his chest tattoos. They can come out together. Yeah. And anybody who shits on it, it's a payday for Corbin. There's more money in Danhausen and those t-shirts than anywhere else. You don't want to be working for Scott D'Amore and freaking Billy Corgan. Like, goddamn, everybody's happy to sign. Hey, I'm happy to be a part of the NWA family. The truth is, like, nobody wants that shit. Nobody wants to be in TNA. You'd rather be on WWE as the bushwhackers eating sardines and licking each other's faces than be in the sheep herders fighting the road warriors in a freaking street fight and bleeding all over the place down in Tennessee. Okay. Any day of the week, give me Danhausen. Let's do this. And with the new TKO people in there, this dude's like a Golden Gloves freaking boxer, former football player, like top elite athlete in both of the things that he did. He excelled at, and then he became a wrestler and he excelled at that. So, and the people who run TKO love this dude.
And he's a great TikTok cook.
Yes, there you go. He's got other things going on. He's the kind of guy, it's not OnlyFans, it's not Mandy Rose, but he's got stuff going on. This is the kind of people. And like, if he signs for a year or does the character for a while and then disappears again, there's no skin off his nose. Thanks for the merch money. Thanks for the contract. Thanks for whatever. I'm gone. And I know for a fact he's working for D'Amore without an actual contract. We spoke about it. So I don't know about Corgan or MLW or whatever, but I know specifically for MLP, there's no contract. And so,
agreed.
And I think they have the tag championships, don't they? Yeah. So there you go. Dijak.
There we go.
Oh, what happened to? I loved Dijak. It's too bad.
Dude,
He could have been. He could have been.
I
When he
think
was in ROH,
Dijak-
those were the days. Like Dijak, Donovan Dijak, ROH was like king of the hill. He could have been such a wicked ROH champ if that vibe kept going. That Sinclair era. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. But it is time, because we've already been chatting wrestling for about an hour, and it is time for us to go get some sleep, cool down, refresh, maybe have a Slurpee. Is that what they're called? Slurpees? Not a Slurpee. A Freezy. I want a Freezy now.
Scott Ainsworth, Corbin and Dijak are a tag team. I believe they are the MLP tag team champions. I believe they're working in MLW and the NWA. I don't think they're the NWA tag champs because it's somebody weird right now that's that interesting. I remember. Anyways, I think they might also be the MLW tag team champions.
Hutch, where can we find your work?
At Hutch Henry's, online, at Demand Lucha. Check us out tomorrow and check out the Plancha Tendencies from a month and a bit ago. That's coming out on YouTube in the next 24 hours. And go to luchamarket.com to get your brand new Demand Lucha t-shirts. And the Demand Lucha satin jackets now for pre-order.
A+Productions.com is where you can go find out all things about A+ Wrestling. Actually, that's going to probably be changing very soon. The actual website URL that is. Go to your favorite podcasting app, search for A+ Wrestling, search for A+ Productions, hit that subscribe, leave a review. Reviews always help the algorithms. And then we want you to be part of the conversation, Facebook.com. And search for A+ Productions, and you can be part of the convo, and so much more. On behalf of the entire A+ crew, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, but most importantly, stay tranquilo.